So today we're going to talk about how when we're in that like thought tornado of those emotions that we're feeling, how real our reality feels. Because what I find is when we're talking about this, some people really struggle to really see that it is our thoughts that are creating our whole reality. They're like, but how? How is that creating my reality? Because I feel it so deeply and it feels so true. And I want to use an example. So the other week I struggled with overwhelm, and it's one of my recurring things, overwhelm. When I feel like there's too much going on, I'm like, and then I get sucked down into that tornado, and I can't see outside of it because all I can do is feel. I feel the overwhelm. I feel like time constricting against me. I feel that anxiety. And even though I'm telling myself, I know this is just my thoughts, if someone was to come to me and tell me that it was just my thoughts and I didn't have this understanding, I would basically tell them to go fuck themselves. you know? So I really want to show like this really is our thoughts creating it. And I had so last night I had an idea just pop into my head when I'm trying to sleep. So as often when I'm trying to sleep that I'll get these ideas and I'm like, sake, I need to get out of bed and write it down. But I see it like so I don't know if you know the emotional chart. I can't remember what it's called. But you know, it starts from like love and it goes all the way down to like despair. So I'm gonna point here because I'm actually gonna edit it in this video. By the way, I'm gonna try. And there's this spiral, okay? And the spiral is going down and down and down. And up here is you're aware of your thinking. You know exactly what's going on. Down here is you are in the thought. You are the thought. And but also over here, I'm not even going to do that because I'm going to point it in. But you've got like all the top frequency vibrations, like love, excitement, all that kind of stuff. And down here you have like the sadness, the judgment, the jealousy, the despair, the depression, all that kind of stuff. And what I want to show people is that when you're outside of the thought, when you can see clearly, when you have that clarity, when you have that clear mind, you're up here, firstly. But sometimes when we have a thought or we think a situation is creating our circumstance or our experience, it takes us down into this spiral. Okay. And the further down that spiral you are, the more you feel it. And the more you feel it, the more you see it around you. And so it's like you're going down and then you're putting glasses over the top of you. And then you're going further down, and those glasses are getting darker and darker and darker until you're down here. And if you're down here and you're level with despair, you are only going to see at that level. Your whole reality around you is going to mirror that back to you. So you can have the same situation as someone else, and someone else could be up here in joy. You see the same external reality, but you've got two different realities. Not because the situation is different, but because you're seeing it from a different. You've got different coloured glasses on. Yeah. And I really wanted to show that the further down you are on that spiral, and not only that, sorry, as you go down and you're at that level, you'll get more thoughts at that level. And because you're getting more thoughts at that level, you're feeling those thoughts, and that's putting you down in that spiral even further. Because we feel our thinking, and then we go down, and then we see more. Situations around us just kind of, see, I knew that was going to happen. Yeah, because you're at that vibration. And now I've lost my train of thought.
I could hop in here a minute. I kind of want to say how, our minds we have parts of our brain that are made to make shortcuts for us, to make things easier for us. And when we get in those where things are starting to get darker and darker, that's where obsessive behavior comes in, addiction, anything where you're looking for that relief. to be able to run from those thoughts. And the funny thing about that is relief is also just a feeling. And one thing that we've learned is that all of our feelings come from our thinking.
Yep.
So so as we're going down, it's easy to get stuck in a loop, whether that be drugs and alcohol, sex, gambling, different modalities, and fixing yourself, working out. It doesn't matter. You know, it could be shopping online. We all have something that we do because somewhere in our heads we've made a shortcut that that's going to make us feel better. And really, it's just running, it's hiding from it. And in doing so, it's feeding it more. And again, that's where the human mind is a powerful thing. So if you're looking for evidence to prove something, you're going to find it. If you're in that low state, that low mood where everything looks dark and gloomy and hopeless, you're going to look out and find 100 different reasons to back up that feeling. Whether they're there, whether they're true or not, because the next day you could wake up and look at the same exact thing, but feel a whole different way. And this understanding isn't about never feeling low again. We're human. We are going to have ups and downs. We are going to have days where the shitty committee is running the show. But with this understanding, we don't have to believe those moods. We don't have to believe that everything is hopeless, because once we see it's coming from inside of us, it's coming from our thinking. And then we learn that thinking is transient. It always changes. It's always flowing. And if you just stand back, it will change on its own. That's what this understanding is about. Because when you learn the 3 Ps, you're still going to have bad days. You're still going to have shitty days. You're still going to get caught up in your own bullshit. The difference is not taking it serious and riding out the wave because you know it's going to change, or believing you're stuck in this forever.
Yeah, and I love that because when I was dealing with that overwhelm, I was literally in it for like a day and a half. And I actually felt the moment it started to shift. Because overwhelm is one of those things where if I give it energy, it grows, and it really grows if I give it my attention. And so it wasn't until I said, right, I'm going to just allow it to be there, stop trying to change it, stop trying to change my thoughts. It was then that it started to lift. And only then. Because as long as we are trying to change it, we're feeding it. And also, I wanted to say about when we were at the bottom of that spiral, most of psychology these days in the society and that thinks you've got to go back up that spiral to be free. But you don't. You're one thought away from completely dismantling that spiral altogether. It's like a jump in consciousness. You don't have to make all that energy in going back up the spiral that you went. You can literally just go.
Yeah, and you know what I want to add to that too is when your awareness does grow, when you do have a shift and all that stuff, you don't even have to go all the way down the spiral. You recognize when it's starting and you acknowledge what it is. You know, it's a negative thought pattern that's coming through, your atmosphere right now, and it's going to pass. But like you guys both said, as soon as we start to feed it, as soon as we start to believe it, as soon as we start to just give it even the tiniest bit of power, it's like a snowball effect from there. It can just keep going and going. So the wonderful thing too about the 3 Ps is the fact that you're aware when these things start. And sometimes we might not exactly know why we're in the low mood thinking. And for me personally, and I don't know how you two do it, but for me personally, when I'm in low mood thinking, I don't care why. And when I say that, I mean, I'm not going to go looking for why do I feel like shit today? Why am I emotional today? Whatever the feeling is I'm having, I'm not going to go looking for it, because when I look for it, I'm giving it a nice big fucking burger to eat
Yep.
and making that thing grow. So,
And I don't know about with you guys, but I know with me, it's like when I wake up and I'm in that low mood thinking, when I'm just able to be like, okay, this is where we're at today. It's a little stormy, and I'm not going to make any decisions today. I'm not going to push myself today, and we're just going to see where this goes. But it's like in giving it permission to be there, it starts to change. Like it softens a little bit just in that, okay, this is just where we're at now. This is where we're at right at this moment, and that's okay. Is it comfortable? No. Do I want to stay here forever? No. But I know I don't have to. This is just part of the journey. But it's when we're running from it or denying it or pretending like it's not there. Like, no, I mean, we're human. We're gonna have bad days. People are going to irritate us. We are going to get stuck in our thinking at times. And then it's once you become aware of it, it's like, oh, this is what's happening. I don't need to know why. I don't need to know when it's going to be over. I just know that it's going to be over. And in taking that step back and allowing it, it starts to soften and change.